Hi, I'm Carrie Gerdeman, Campus Support for Activities. I'm here again. Today I'm going to show you how to do a piece of artwork with our residents, and this is going to be good for our textile living arts category this month. I did this actually just very impromptu at our Commerce, Michigan campus last week, and it worked out great. First, you need a piece of paper, and this is the mixed media paper that I purchased at Michael's, and you could also use watercolor paper if you choose to. I have my large coffee can, like I mentioned, that I always use for my water because it has a wide base of support. It's not going to tip. And then we just added some water, and the residents painted a landscape. And we talked about what a landscape was. We happened to have a lady there, a resident, who was an artist. So she was able to answer that question very easily, what a landscape was. She actually worked on this for an hour and a half that day. We went down to the 200 hallway. We set up 2 big tables, and I was able to do this with residents who were at Sapphire level. Some needed hand-over-hand assistance, but many did not. We actually used watercolor paints because that's what they had available. I am today using acrylic paint because I think the colors are more vibrant. Don't forget, acrylic paint is going to stain your clothing if it does dry on your clothes. So you want to make sure that your table is covered in some way, although this is fine usually to just use painter's tape, which removes very easily from your artwork and also the table. And you want to make sure that residents are wearing some sort of an apron or clothing protection. So the next thing I did was in the campus they had some old pieces of fabric, and on that fabric there were a bunch of flowers which came, that's how I came up with the idea to begin with. So here are the little pieces that I have cut today from some fabric remnants that I just had hanging around. And it doesn't need to dry. We took some time and just talked about landscapes, and we talked about colors while we were waiting for it to dry a little bit. And then we used Elmer's glue, but today I'm going to use Mod Podge, and I'm going to use a Q-tip. And so I would have the residents tell me where they would like their flowers. This is their garden. Where would you like your flower? Ooh, looks like we're getting one right there since I just dripped it. Some of them I had to help to put the glue on, and some of them I did not. A lot of them I could give them, especially a sapphire, I would maybe give them 2 choices. Which color would you like? Which flower? And they could point to it or pick it up, and then they could set it on. Where would you like that flower? They could set it exactly where they wanted. And then after they set it down, I came in with the glue and set it down. So we're able to just go along. Like I said, these were just pieces of fabric that I cut. Ideally, it would be nice for some residents to cut it, and if you had higher functioning, they could certainly cut it themselves, but they are going to have sewing scissors. Regular scissors are not going to cut it. It's kind of difficult. I also have some little leaves that we placed those on. After we had all the flowers, we added some leaves. Some of them put 2 leaves on, some of them put 5, some of them had a whole garden full of flowers. Other people only had 1 or 2 flowers. But they were individual gardens, and they were textile arts because fabric is a textile. I also today cut some birds, so we could put a bird up here. But after we have it exactly how they want it, then we would take a thin brush. This is a thin brush. This is actually called a liner brush. It is also available at Michael's or Joann's or NASCO, or it's a liner or a number 1 it's called. But it's real thin. And then I just take my acrylic paint, and they were able to put stems on. So we put little stems on. Some of them added a little grass onto the bottom, even if they need some ideas. You can just keep asking them, does that look done? Do you think we need another flower? But that basically is the concept. I'm going to add some little feet onto him. And then I always have my artists sign their artwork. So everybody took a little Sharpie pen that I brought with me, and we signed it in the corner, because that's what real artists do, is they sign their artwork. And because we use this lovely painter's tape, it comes off, it comes clean from the table, it comes clean from the artwork, not from my fingers apparently. And ta-da! Living Arts Textiles. Have a good day.